Good morning, and welcome back to America's Leaders from Coast to Coast, the 250th Anniversary Edition. I'm Stephen.
And I'm Leah.
We are heading to the land of enchantment today. New Mexico, the high desert, green Chile, red mesas, and arguably the most unique political culture in the United States. We are profiling the junior senator from New Mexico, Democrat Ray Luján.
Ben Ray! You know, Stephen, sometimes we profile politicians who are show horses. They love the cameras, they love the fight. Ray Luján is the ultimate workhorse. He comes from Nambe, which is this small, traditional farming community north of Santa Fe. His father, Ben Luján Sr., was a legend in New Mexico politics. He was an iron worker who became the Speaker of the State House. So Ben Ray grew up in a world where politics meant, did you fix the irrigation ditch? Not, did you get on CNN?
And that grounding really shows in his style. He rose through the ranks in the House. He was the DCCC chairman who engineered the 2018 Blue Wave, but you never really saw him taking credit. He operates like a classic Senate institutionalist. But Leah, we have to talk about 2022, because honestly, it's a miracle he is still here.
It really is. In January 2022, he was just 49 years old. He started feeling dizzy and fatigued. He thought maybe he was just tired from the Senate schedule, but he checked himself into a hospital in Santa Fe, and they realized he was having a stroke in his cerebellum. They rushed him to the trauma center in Albuquerque and had to perform decompressive surgery, basically removing a piece of his skull to let the brain swell without damage. It was terrifying. The entire balance of the U.S. Senate literally depended on his recovery.
And the recovery was incredible. Most people take months or years to come back from a stroke like that. Luján was back on the Senate floor in about a month. He walked in to cast a vote for a Supreme Court justice, and the whole chamber gave him a standing ovation. Since then, he has become a huge advocate for stroke awareness. He talks about the signs, the dizziness, the balance issues, because he wants people to know it can happen to anyone, even a young senator.
In the 119th Congress, he got a major promotion. He is now on the Finance Committee. That is one of the Super A committees. It deals with taxes, trade, Social Security, and Medicare. For a state like New Mexico, which has a lot of retirees and a lot of poverty, having a seat at that table is huge. He can directly influence how Medicaid is funded, which is a lifeline for his constituents.
He is also obsessed with broadband. Obsessed.
He calls it the water of the 21st century. And if you have ever driven through rural New Mexico, you know why. There are huge chunks of the state, especially on the Navajo Nation and in the rural pueblos, where there is zero cell service, let alone high-speed internet. Luján was the key guy in the bipartisan infrastructure law who fought for the middle-mile funding. He wants to run fiber optic cables into every canyon and mesa. He views it as a civil rights issue. You can't apply for a job or do homework if you don't have connection.
We also have to mention the downwinders. This is a heavy topic.
It is. The Trinity test, the first nuclear bomb detonation, happened in New Mexico. The government told everyone it was just an ammo dump explosion, but the fallout rained down on local families for days. Generations of New Mexicans have died from cancer because of it. Luján has been fighting to expand the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, or RECA, to finally pay those families. The government has paid downwinders in other states, but for decades they excluded the people in New Mexico, where the bomb actually went off. Luján takes that personally. He frames it as a moral debt.
He bridges a lot of worlds. He represents the nuclear physicists at Los Alamos and the chili farmers in Hatch.
The stroke survivor from Nambe.
That is Ray Luján. That is our profile for New Mexico. Stay tuned for our next profile. Please note AI assists in the creation of this podcast from pointedwords.com, and remember, better pointed words than pointed swords.